Hi, boys and girls. We are doing resurrection egg number 7, and it's the light orange one today. So let's open it and see what's in it. It's a circular looking thing with points on it. This is actually, it represents a crown of thorns. Thorns are pokey little needles that are on branches. And if you touch them, they can hurt. And if you poke your finger on it too hard, it can make it bleed. Why are we talking about a crown of thorns? Well, let's find out. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the governor's headquarters, and they gathered the whole battalion before him. And they stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on his head and put a reed in his right hand. Jesus kneeling before him, they mocked him, saying, "Hail the King of Jews." So the soldiers made a crown of thorns and they shoved it onto Jesus' head. And Jesus started to bleed. And I know that couldn't have felt good. And then when they said, "Hail, King of the Jews," they were teasing him. And we know we don't tease each other because we always want to use kind words. So after Jesus had been whipped, the soldiers took branches with thorns, twisted them into the shape of a crown, and shoved it down on Jesus' head. Again, Jesus bled from his head. We know that because Jesus was the Son of God, he could have stopped the men from hurting him. But he let them continue. Do you know why? Because even though he hadn't done anything wrong, he had not sinned. Jesus was taking the punishment for all the wrong things that any person had ever done or ever will do. And this includes you and me. So Jesus could have stopped them. He had the power and the control to stop them, and he didn't. He let them hurt him and make fun of him. And he did it because he loves you and he loves me. And sometimes that makes me really kind of sad that he got hurt, but it also makes me feel special because he loves me that much and he loves you that much. It's a pretty special thing to be loved that much. And that's why we always want to remember Jesus' love. Now let's find out what's happening in Benjamin's box. We're also talking about the thorns, remember, or the crown of thorns. Benjamin continued to walk. If only he could make them release Jesus. But what could a small boy do? He heard loud cries as another crowd gathered at the end of the street. "Hail, King of the Jews!" yelled a soldier as Benjamin pushed his way past men and women. And there stood Jesus. Benjamin looked into Jesus' eyes as Roman soldiers threw a shabby robe over his beaten back. He expected to see hatred, but instead saw only love. Just then, a soldier shoved a crown of thorns on Jesus' head, and another struck him with a stick. Benjamin's eyes filled with tears. Why were they doing this? A few days ago, everyone had called Jesus a king when he entered into Jerusalem. Now, it seemed they all hated him. Benjamin squatted down and buried his head in his hands. "Please, God," he prayed over and over. "Please make them stop." When he finally opened his eyes, the crowd had moved along and Jesus was gone. He walked over to where they had scorned his friend and picked up a sharp thorn broken from that awful crown. He ran home. His parents paused to hear his story and then sadly shook their heads and returned to their work. Benjamin placed the thorn and the leather strip in his box and he cried. This is kind of a this is a little sad and it's a little scary, but we have to remember this story is not over yet. This story has a really good ending, and we are going to find out in those next few eggs how this story ends, and it's the best story ever told.